The 30th of January 1933, Adolf Hitler becomes Chancellor, and he works to turn Germany into a dictatorship under his sole control. To do so, the new government reorientates the country's previously democratic organizations and institutions to serve Nazi ideals. Law and justice are no exception. In April 1933, Hitler passes one of the earliest anti-Semitic laws, purging Jewish and also socialist judges, lawyers, and other court officers from their professions. Hitler is determined to increase the political reliability of the courts, and in 1933 he establishes special courts throughout Germany to try politically sensitive cases. Dissatisfied with the not guilty verdicts rendered by the Supreme Court in the Reichstag fire trial, Hitler ordered the creation of the People's Court in Berlin in 1934 to try treason and other important political cases. Its first president becomes Otto Georg Thierack. Otto Georg Thierack was born on the 19th of April, 1889 in the town of Würzen, then part of the German Empire. His father Heinrich Otto was a merchant, and his mother Antonie was a housewife. From 1910, Thierack studied law at the universities in Marburg and Leipzig, and on the 20th of July 1913 passed the first state law examination. When he received his doctorate in Leipzig in February 1914, he was working as a trainee lawyer in the town of Scheibenberg. When the First World War began on the 28th of July 1914, Thierack voluntarily enlisted in the German army. He suffered a facial injury, was decorated with the Iron Cross Second Class, and when the World War ended on the 11th of November 1918, he held a rank of lieutenant, which was equivalent to the rank of second lieutenant in the US Army. Thierack then resumed his interrupted legal training and completed it on the 10th of April 1920 with the judicial examination. In the same year, he was appointed assistant judge in Saxony, and from 1921 until 1926, he worked at the public prosecutor's office. In October 1926, he moved to Dresden, where he worked at the higher regional court as a public prosecutor. On the 1st of August 1932, Thierack joined the Nazi Party. Adolf Hitler came into power in January 1933, and on the 12th of May that year, Thierack was appointed Justice Minister of Saxony. His job was to Nazify justice, which was part of a process of Nazification designed to turn Germany into a single-party state under Hitler and the Nazi Party. This so-called coordination, or synchronization, was done in the name of national unity. However, it allowed the Nazi Party to extend its power by creating a single-party state. Everything was subject to coordination: local government, professional organizations, social clubs, leisure activities, even those for children. Even Hitler was surprised with the speed and ease of remaking Germany and noted, "Everything is going much faster than we ever dared to hope." In 1935, Thierack became vice president of the Reich Court, and in May 1936, president of the People's Court. The People's Court was established in 1934 by order of Adolf Hitler in response to his dissatisfaction at the outcome of the 1933 Reichstag fire trial in front of the Reich Court of Justice, in which all but one of the defendants were acquitted. The court had jurisdiction over a rather broad array of political offenses, which included crimes like black marketeering, work slowdowns, defeatism, and treason against Nazi Germany. The Second World War began on the 1st of September 1939. By August 1942, when Thierack was replaced by the fanatical Nazi judge Roland Freisler, the People's Court Senate, which Thierack presided over, heard 87 cases. In 33 cases, death sentences were handed down against Czech and German residents of the Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia. On the 23rd and 24th April 1941, Thierack took part in a conference of senior judicial officials on the subject of the extermination of life unworthy of life in the context of the Nazi euthanasia program, codenamed Action T4. The goal of the euthanasia planners was to kill people with mental and physical disabilities, and historians estimate that this program claimed the lives of 250,000 individuals. In the fall of 1941, Thierack complied with the wishes of Reinhard Heydrich in the trial against Alois Eliasch, who served as Prime Minister of the puppet government of the German-occupied Protectorate of Bohemia and Moravia from the 27th of April, 1939 to the 27th of September, 1941, but maintained contact with the government in exile. On the 27th of September, 1941, 2 days before the appointment of Heydrich as the new Deputy Protector of Bohemia and Moravia, Eliasch was arrested, put on trial, and sentenced to death. Heydrich expressly thanked Thierack for his excellent support and political understanding in dealing with Eliasch, who became the only head of government who was murdered by the Nazis during the Second World War. Thanks to his contacts with Heinrich Himmler, Reinhard Heydrich, and Martin Bormann, in August 1942, Thierack replaced the unpopular Franz Schlegelberger as the head of the Reich Ministry of Justice. After his appointment, Thierack saw to it that the lengthy paperwork involved in clemency proceedings for those sentenced to death was greatly shortened. A fanatical Nazi, he approved less than 3% of clemency appeals, and to destroy the independence of judges, he used various instruments, such as preliminary and subsequent reviews of judgments. In September 1942, he caused all those in custody who were Jews, Romani people, Russians, Poles sentenced to over 3 years, Czechs or Germans serving a sentence of over 8 years, to be classified as a social elements and transferred to Heinrich Himmler to be exterminated through work. On the 13th of October 1942, in a letter to Martin Bormann concerning Poles, Russians, Jews, and Romani people, Thierack noted with regret that the judiciary could only contribute to a small extent to the extermination of members of these ethnic groups. In January 1943, Thierack had the Auschwitz commandant Rudolf Höss give him a tour of the main camp. The same month, he received the Golden Party badge for special services. 1 month before, in December 1942, at Thierack's instigation, the execution shed at Plötzensee Prison in Berlin was outfitted with 8 iron hooks so that several people could be put to death at once by hanging. According to several witnesses, after several buildings in the Plötzensee prison were bombed in September 1943, Thierack personally ordered the immediate execution of around 300 prisoners. Among those hanged were prisoners whose clemency proceedings were still ongoing, as well as some for whom the court had not yet handed down a death sentence. Due to the rapidity of these mass executions, some prisoners were hanged by mistake. Thierack dismissed these as errors and demanded that the hangings continue. On the basis of a decree issued by Thierack on the 15th of February 1945, the powers of the summary courts, which had previously been limited to the military, were extended to civilians in all enemy-threatened Reich defense districts. On the 29th of April 1945, Adolf Hitler signed his political testament in which Thierack was named to continue as Minister of Justice. 1 day later, following the suicide of Adolf Hitler, and in accordance with his last will and testament, Karl Dönitz was named Hitler's successor as head of state. However, Karl Dönitz rejected Thierack and dismissed him on the 6th of May 1945. After Germany's surrender, Thierack was wanted by the Allies who arrested him. On the 26th of October 1946, while imprisoned in the Iselheide internment camp, the 57-year-old Thierack took his own life by poisoning himself. The time of death was determined to be 4:30 a.m. The man, who used his position to twist laws and actively supported Nazi murderous activities through his rulings, never faced justice for his crimes. Thanks for watching the World History Channel. Be sure to like and subscribe and click the bell notification icon so you don't miss our next episodes. We thank you, and we'll see you next time on the channel.